bombs are dropping, missiles are flying, crazy politicians are threatening atomic bombs all over the place. And gold, what's gold going to do? Gold has always been the money of last resort, that, no matter what happens, gold always has its value. It's a store of value that stays strong even when governments come and go, even when wars come and go. When people have to flee, you can put gold in your pocket and take it with you. Whereas the money in your bank account, your checkbook may be worthless, but your credit cards may be just as worthless. But with gold, you always have something as a last resort. And like I say, I could, put $1 million worth of gold in a backpack and carry it with me if I had that much gold. I don't have that much gold. But, if you've not got any gold, now's the time that you may be thinking about it. The big news is that the U.S. dropped a bunch of bunker buster bombs on the nuclear plants of Iran because Iran was concentrating fissionable uranium into levels that were pretty much close to what they needed to make an atomic bomb. They've been threatening this and doing this for years, and U.S. politicians had tried for years to buy them off and convince them, oh, please don't do that because you're just kind of violent. And instead they keep shouting, death to America, death to Israel, death to anybody that we don't like. Because, a lot of the other Muslim countries around Iran are just as concerned about Iran as a lot of other people are. And the European countries ought to be as concerned too, because if you're not one of their subjects that does terror for them, you're in the crosshairs. Of course, the United States is first, and Israel is up at the top, but the other nations, they're out there to try and get you. And we're at the beginning of a time that could be really bad. There's talk about mining the Strait of Hormuz, which is next to Iran, which would prevent most of the world's oil from getting out and being shipped to the nations that use it, which would cause the price of oil to skyrocket. And there's talk of expanded weapons and additional bombings going forth. And there's even talk of, a Russian politician said that they would supply nuclear weapons to Iran if Iran didn't have them and Iran wanted them. So it's a terrible thing, and, we're looking at a potentially really difficult time. The U.S. government, Trump has said, he wants this to be a one thing done, and then bring Iran to the peace table. But do you really think the Ayatollahs are going to just lay down their weapons and say, I'm sorry, I really didn't mean to build an atomic bomb. It's okay, Mr. Trump, we'll do what you say. I'm sorry, that ain't gonna happen. Lots of politicians have tried to negotiate with the Ayatollahs, and they're people who want war, who want to fight. They don't necessarily want it in their own backyard, but they want it to spread. They've got all these proxies that they fund and send money to, and get them to go out and cause war and kill people. A lot of the people that died, the soldiers that died in Iraq when we were in there, were dying because of Iranian IUD or IED bombs that they were putting in the roads and waylaying the American soldiers. So Iran has been killing American soldiers for years. It's nothing new. It shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that Iran is out there trying to get the United States into a war, and they want to fight. They're stirring for a fight. Why would you continue to concentrate your uranium to a point where it's almost ready to be made into a nuclear bomb if you weren't trying to pick a fight? if all you really were doing was concentrating stuff a little bit so it could be used in a nuclear reactor, well, you wouldn't need that extra concentration, and it wouldn't be that big a deal. But, the Ayatollahs are dangerous. Dangerous is the word. And this is going to influence gold. This happened on Saturday. Today is Sunday. We don't know what's going to happen, but it's very likely that there's going to be attacks and, like I say, missiles flying and bombs dropping. And it's not going to, there's talk about sleeper cells. We had an open border for years, and we let anybody and everybody come on in. You don't have any ID, we don't know who you are, no problem, come on in. You want to kill Americans, no problem, come on in. And so we've got people here that want destruction and want problems. And even though Iran has been attacked and lots of stuff has happened, they still have people here that they can employ that want to see Americans die. Europeans, they want to see Europeans die. They want to see anybody who's not on their side. And it doesn't, even other Muslim countries that may not be exactly their strain, they still want to see him die. So it's a dangerous thing. The world is at a cross point. There's threats. We don't know where this is going. There's a lot of uncertainty. And when there's high uncertainty, gold is shining. And now, if you have some gold in hand, well, it's good to have it and have it available in case you need it, because gold can always be turned into money. But if you don't have any gold, well, there's gold out there to be had. The bulk of the gold I have is gold that I've found over the years. And, I do a lot of videos on prospecting for gold, and gold is out there. And if you want to find your own gold, it's out there to be found. Now, it ain't easy. I won't tell you you're just going to walk out in some old gold mining area and nuggets are just going to leap out of the ground into your pocket. It's not like that. We're 150 years too late, and even 150 years ago it wasn't that easy. They had to work for it, but there was more possibilities. But now we have things like metal detecting, which, allows us to do things that the old timers never could do. The whole Middle East is a powder keg. There's a number of countries there that are very war and fight oriented, that are very aggressive and want to see, even their neighbors. They don't like each other. I once saw a cartoon that had a whole bunch of Arab states, but it was a cartoon, and they were represented by people all in a circle, and they each had a knife to stab the guy in the back, but it was a circle all the way around to stab each other in the back. And then it said, that's kind of what those nations are. It's a powder keg. They're ready to fight, and we don't know what's going to happen. It's a maximum amount of uncertainty right now. Will gold be shooting up? I put out a survey on my YouTube page and asked people, what do you think? Gold go up? Gold go down? Well, the vast majority said gold will go up. And, even some of the people that said down said we're certainly in for a lot of volatility of gold going up and down and just moving a lot. And so now is a time of uncertainty, and now is a time to have some gold for yourself. So if you want to find gold for yourself, I've written a book. It's called Fistful of Gold, and you can look at all my YouTube videos. I got loads of videos about how to find gold for yourself. Techniques of doing research, what you ought to do, recommendations for new guys, talking about metal detectors and panning and all sorts of things. Even hard rock, going out and checking out hard rock mines. So there's a lot of possibilities. And like I say, in order to impart to you these skills, I wrote a book called Fistful of Gold. And I also have a partnership with an outfit called High Plains Prospectors. They sell all kinds of prospecting equipment. I don't sell prospecting equipment at all. I'm not a dealer, but High Plains is. And in order to tell you more about my book and more about High Plains, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about both of them right now.
This is my book, Fistful of Gold. It's an encyclopedia of everything you need to know to go out and find gold for yourself. It distills down my 45 years of experience out in the field prospecting, as well as my degree in mine engineering. It's, like I say, an encyclopedia. There's a lot to it. It's over 250,000 words long, hundreds of pages with hundreds of illustrations, teaching you what you need to know about geology, about mining districts, about techniques of finding gold. It covers metal detectors, sluicing, panning, dry washing, high bankers, you name it, it's covered in there. It talks some about platinum and diamonds, but it's mostly about gold because gold is more widespread. It is not so much a book about where to find gold, but a book about how to find gold. Because even if you have a location where gold was mined in the past and you go out there, well, where should you look to be successful in your prospecting, to find the gold that's there? This is the book that's going to tell you that information. I spent most of 10 years writing this book, so I thought a long time about it. It's got, like I say, lots of information and lots of illustrations, and I've had results from people who bought it. It's available on Amazon, but I recommend buying it through High Plains Prospectors, and I'll put a link in the description for buying this book through them. They have a better price than Amazon, and I have a special deal that I'll tell you a little bit more about, where you can get a 5% discount from the price even with that. On Amazon, the book rates a 4.7 out of 5, which means that of all the people that have bought it, they've been really highly satisfied, and I think you, if you buy my book, will be just as highly satisfied as well. Now let's talk a little bit more about High Plains Prospectors. They're a prospecting shop, a mail order prospecting shop that I've partnered with. The deal is that I can get you a 5% discount, a coupon code, and I'm going to put the code to that right here. It's just Chris Ralph, all caps with no space between Chris and Ralph. You put that in there as a discount code and you'll get 5% off their already really good prices. I think it's a great deal where you win by getting a discount, I get a little percentage of that, and they get new business. So if you need prospecting supplies, High Plains is really the way to go. And I'll put information, like I say, in the description more about how you can work with them, because I'm working with them. They really are great guys, a great company. For even more information, I also have a website, and I'm going to show you my webpage and talk a little bit more about that right now.
This is my webpage. It's located at NevadaOutbackGems.com. You can Google it, or I have a link down in the description below. But there's lots of information here, miscellaneous stuff, pictures, some historic information as well, stories. It's got a lot of great fun stuff. You'll probably be interested in it.
Now, on all of my YouTube videos, I encourage you guys to ask questions. If you have thoughts, comments, suggestions for things that I ought to look at in my videos, things that you want to find out more about, and I answer 100% of my questions. There's not very many YouTubers out there that answer 100% of their questions. I'm one of the few. And so I will do my best to answer what you have. I mean, I only can write so much. Sometimes the answer is something where I'm going to recommend that you buy the book and read about it. I also ask that you subscribe to my channel, click the bell notification so that every time I come out with a new video, you'll be able to watch it. And like I say, I cover a huge amount of topics. I also have 250 videos that I've already done. And so you can go back through my catalog of videos on YouTube. I'm sure there'll be many videos there that you'll want to take a look at, especially if you have any interest in gold or platinum, diamonds, gemstones, geology, and that sort of stuff. My YouTube site is going to be right up your alley. So I'll see you again real soon. We'll be out in the field and back in the office at the whiteboard, and whether we're looking at gold or platinum, diamonds, gemstones, or other interesting geology, it's going to be fun. You're going to enjoy it, and we'll see you again real soon.